Welcome to the Weather Review, the podcast that is not your typical forecast. Weekly, we look back at weather events that may have made the news in an attempt to explain what happened and why. I'm your host, Gavin White, and I welcome you to this week's Weather Review. Hurricane Dora has made incredible history, and she hasn't even made landfall anywhere. The historic storm started off as a tropical wave off the African coast on July 19th. Now, tropical wave is an elongated area of low pressure or a notable area of cyclonic rotation traveling east to west across the tropics. This is usually what leads to tropical cyclone development in the Atlantic Ocean. So when she first emerged off the African coast, the National Hurricane Center marked her, but ultimately dropped it after she failed to develop any further while still in the Atlantic Basin. Nonetheless, the storm's remnants continued westward, traversing the Atlantic and crossing Central America into the Pacific Ocean. Once in the eastern Pacific, she began to pick up steam. On July 31st, she became a tropical depression, and then later, once winds reached 39 miles per hour on August the 1st, she became the fourth named Pacific storm of the 2023 season, Tropical Storm Dora. From here, she continued to strengthen across the eastern and central Pacific to her maxima of a Category 4 hurricane and sustained winds of 144 miles per hour. Now, somewhere in this range here of the eastern and central Pacific, she passed hundreds of miles to the south of Hawaii. However, despite this, the low pressure, which is associated with the hurricane, worked in tandem with a high pressure system, which is further north of the state, and created a strong pressure gradient. It's pretty much varying pressures from the low to the high as the air is trying to sort itself out in between. So the strong pressure gradient in between the two happened to catch Hawaii in the middle. This pressure gradient led to strong winds, as again the air is trying to work itself out. And those strong winds fanned the deadly wildfire flames in Hawaii. Of course, there's other things and conditions that contributed to that, but this is certainly a driving factor that should be noted. Continuing traveling westward, Dora crossed into the western Pacific, crossing the international date line and making history in the process. Hurricane Dora was now Typhoon Dora. She became the second recorded storm to ever achieve this feat, the first being Hurricane John in 1994. So when tropical cyclones reach sustained winds of 74 miles an hour or greater, we typically refer to them as hurricanes. That's what they're called. In the Atlantic Basin, as well as in the eastern and central Pacific Ocean, tropical cyclones with sustained winds of 74 miles an hour or greater is a hurricane. However, on the other side of the international date line, in the western Pacific, that exact same storm is called a typhoon. It's just a different part of the world with a different name. Same storm, different name. She became the second storm to ever cross that imaginary international date line. She went from Hurricane Dora to Typhoon Dora. It is an abnormality, as storms typically weaken in the central Pacific due to cooler water. However, she did stay significantly further south, where the water is warmer, which led to her strengthening and maintaining Category 4 status, giving her enough juice to make it all the way over into the western Pacific and become Typhoon Dora. Now, she has since weakened to a tropical storm. She went from a Category 4 hurricane to Typhoon Dora to now she has since weakened to a tropical storm. Currently, at the time of recording, she has sustained wind speeds at 40 miles per hour. She's expected to further weaken into a tropical depression within the day. So some fast facts on Hurricane Dora. She has traveled over 10,000 miles from her initial emergence off the African coast to becoming named in the eastern Pacific, to crossing the international date line and becoming a typhoon, to where she stands now. She has traveled well over 10,000 miles. She is also the longest lasting Category 4 hurricane in the Pacific on record. Hurricane John of 1994, the previous only hurricane to cross international date line and become a typhoon. Now he has a sibling, if you will. Hurricane John of 1994 is the longest lasting tropical cyclone on record. Hurricane Dora is the longest lasting Category 4 hurricane in the Pacific Ocean on record. It's been an unbelievable week, couple of weeks really, for tropical weather, as we have learned that Dora truly is the explorer. Dora, Dora, Dora the Explorer. That's the debut and finale of my singing career there. Hey, this is Gavin. I want to give you a bit of an update on the show moving forward as life is about to get a little more hectic. And I have enjoyed the past 10 weeks now of being able to research what's going on in the weather world and figure out how to convey that information and my own thoughts to you. And I do want to thank you for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. It really does mean a lot. I feel like I have certainly gained quite a few skills and improved on some of these skills over these last 10 weeks, 2.5 months. Jeez. 2.5 months of doing this, and I have enjoyed every minute of it. Now, moving forward with the academic year getting ready to start back up this next week, I'm not sure what my weekly schedule is going to look like. Between classes, extracurriculars, work, sports games, just everything that goes on with the college life, I don't know what my weekly schedule will look like and my ability to be able to continue doing this. Certainly hope I will, but I don't know for sure for the first couple weeks. So I'm going to be taking a break for a few weeks from this to figure out how this is going to work, if it's going to be able to work. I'll definitely be sure to offer updates as I start figuring out what my week's going to look like and if this is something feasible to do throughout the semester or not. So be on the lookout for those. Until then, give me a follow on Twitter. It's at TheGavinWhiteWX. I post updates from time to time there, as well as just talk about various things as they pertain to weather and college football, because that's pretty much all that there is to my personality. I just want to give you a heads up, and I appreciate you for listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies.